Hi, Craig Adams here from Canon Media, and today I'm going to go over the Magic Lantern Firmware tutorial. I'm actually going to explain why you'd want to use it in the first place and actually how to install it on your DSLR camera. It gives you a lot of new options and a lot of new ways to do things that the Canon firmware doesn't allow you to. But the one thing is that it doesn't replace what your Canon firmware is, it's just an addition to it. So there's really no reason not to put it on. It's pretty easy to, which I'm going to explain later. But here are some basic things that you would want to use this firmware for. Number one, it adds the ability to look at histograms, zebras, peaking, a lot of exposure options for when you're shooting. Number two, especially when you're using manual lenses, it has a lot of focusing features that will help you, like zoom, trapping, and it'll actually tell you what lens you're using, what length you're at, and where the focus is set as far as meters or centimeters. It actually gives you a lot of options as far as how long your exposures are. It allows you to do star photography, allows you to use an intervalometer on your camera, set how many frames per second. So if you want to do a really long time lapse, you can do that. It gives you a lot of options for that. It allows you to do HDR photos, which means it takes 3 photos of the exact same subject at different exposures, overexposed, balanced, and then underexposed, so that you can actually edit them in post and make HDR photos. And lastly, it lets you mess around with the bit rate of the actual camera as far as it records to SD cards or CF cards if you're using a 5D Mark II, which means that you can change it from variable bit rate to a very selective bit rate. So instead of shooting at 15 megabits and 20 as the camera will dictate what works best for your shot, you can always shoot at the highest bit rate, getting the most information out of your picture when you shoot, which in turn allows you to change the length of the camera. Everyone knows that Canon cameras, as far as the 60D, only allows you to shoot about 12 minutes per shot clip, which equals out to 4 gigabytes, which that's the cutoff, the 4 gigabytes. So when you change these settings, you can actually shoot past the 12-minute mark, or you could even shoot less, but at a higher bit rate. So that is a really cool option that lets you change. Okay, so here's a really quick tutorial on how to put the Magic Lantern firmware on your camera, specifically 60D, but it'll go on anything, you know, 5D Mark II, T3i, T2i, T3, anything except for the 7D, I'm pretty sure. But all right, so the first step is to go to the Magic Lantern download page, which I've got below. Just check it, and that'll send you to here. Depending on what you want to download the software for that. I'm going to do the 60D right now. So you click on that, sends you to the specific page for the 60D, and what you would do is you would download the newest firmware for it, which is right here. But before you do that, you want to make sure you have the newest software for the actual 60D. So what you want to do is you want to follow the link below that for Canon. And on this page, you're going to go to drivers and software, and you're going to actually go to 60D firmware 1.1 right here. Pick Windows or Mac. I'm picking Mac. You go down here, accept. Begins the download, you open this DMG, and when that actually unpacks onto your desktop, you're going to actually just take this firmware, you're going to insert your SD card that you're going to be using into your computer, and you actually drag and drop this firmware onto and I'm going to put my SD card in here. Once it pops up, there it is. All right, so I've got my SD card, and you actually leave these 2 folders here. You actually drag and drop the firmware onto the card right there, and then you eject it, put it in your camera, go into the My menu, the menu settings, and then you go down to where it says firmware, and then you just install it. It's really quick and easy. You just keep clicking OK. It takes like 2 minutes probably. But after you do that, what you want to do is go to another download page for the Magic Lantern. I'm installing this one, 11, 12, 12. And you skip this ad. It usually has an ad there that you skip, and you go to this page. Click download, this link right here. It downloads, you unpack it. So now it's unpacked right here. Double click, select everything in here and put it onto your camera SD card. Takes about 5 seconds, and pretty much like before, you're going to eject, put it in your camera in the exact same way. You just keep going through the menu, and then you just keep clicking install, okay, okay, okay. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you get a little window that comes up that says install successful, and it's green usually. And then once that's done, you can turn off your camera, turn it back on, and Magic Lantern is now installed. To access the menu, you press the trash bin button on the 60D. For 5D, I know it's picture styles, and for other cameras it's different buttons. For 60D, you press the trash bin, and that brings up all your menus. And you can see the menu layout for the live view is different. There's lots of options on the menu, but just look around, and that's how you install that. Okay, so 3 tips again, and I'm gonna start the first one off with using a bracket or a hot shoe connector for the zoom. One thing that you can do on top of the camera is actually put one of these brackets up on top where this light would go. And this allows you to put 2 hot shoe accessories on when you could only do 1 before. So if you wanted to put on a zoom up here, you could do that once you get this piece of accessory. It's just a little connector. You get it from B&H, which is a great website to get your stuff from, and it lets you do that. Number 2, check out my cool onboard light. The thing that I like about this is that it gives me the options of 1 light or 2, which is pretty much full or half the intensity of the light. It's a little bit diffused, so it's good. Its throw is just the amount that I want. I would use this light for weddings at the reception when people are dancing, or the cake cutting, or anything that's going on in the horrendous light of wedding reception halls. And it's nice because it uses Sony batteries from this camera, this one, and I've already got a couple of those, so it's perfect for what I use. And lastly, number 3, I just got a battery grip for my 60D, and it attaches right to the bottom of it, and it allows me to have 2 lithium batteries instead of 1, or I can put 4 AA's and it runs off of that also, I believe. It adds to the weight of the camera, which helps with stabilization, and it allows me to shoot twice as long, so why not have it, you know? It's a great thing to have. And that'll do it for today. Once again, if you have any comments or questions or ideas for future tutorials, please comment below or contact me. But I'm Craig Adams, and thank you for watching.